Hello and welcome to Revelation TV Presents. In today's programme we'll be discussing the new Hollywood blockbuster known as The Darkest Hour, and to discuss this remarkable film I'm joined by Deanna Fletcher, who's a radio host and broadcaster. Welcome to the programme.
Thanks for having me.
Deanna, what would you say about the film? Because you've seen the film. I had the privilege of seeing it as well back in December. And I found it an inspirational film. And Gary Oldman, who plays Winston Churchill, was incredible. He's tipped to win an Oscar for his role as Winston Churchill. But also I think it sensed the complexities of the time, and really even calling it The Darkest Hour was very, very appropriate, because this was Britain's darkest hour and this was Winston Churchill's darkest hour. What was your impression of the film?
You say it was his darkest hour, but I guess it was one of his finest moments as well. It must have been so hard doing that job. I loved the movie from start to finish. Of course, the cast were incredible. The production value was amazing. The director was on point. The cinematography, I mean, it's just a great film.
Absolutely. So let's have a look now at the trailer for The Darkest Hour.
We must now select my successor, and it's only one man the opposition will accept.
He stands for one thing, and one thing only, himself.
Why have I been forced to send for Churchill? This record is a catastrophe.
Let them see your true qualities, your lack of vanity.
Yeah, my iron will.
Your sense of humour.
Ho, ho, ho. Your Majesty.
It is my duty to invite you to take up the position of Prime Minister of this United Kingdom.
For someone that, obviously you're not a war buff into war films, but someone of your generation, which is great, how can you encourage younger people to go and watch a film like this, and what does it have to offer for them?
Well, the great thing about Darkest Hour is I do find it to be generally really accessible, regardless of your age. I think that the character of Winston Churchill is in some form or another known to all of us. We know his name, we know he was the Prime Minister, we might be able to quote some of his speeches, and it's actually one of the things I love the most about knowing about the movie is how supportive his family and his descendants have been. Even at the premiere, they acknowledged the fact that there was something like 16 of his family in the audience.
So let's have a look now at Gary Oldman, who played Winston Churchill, and the rest of the cast talking about the film Darkest Hour.
Ben and Kristen, what was your first reaction when you saw Gary in full hair and makeup as Winston?
Well, it wasn't Gary anymore. It's this Winston Churchill has arrived and is in the house. I mean, it was quite extraordinary. I remember when we were doing the rehearsals, there was a man who runs the archive, the Winston Churchill archive, and there was a board of photographs that you'd taken with the photographer of you in costume, in all your gear. And he went up to these photographs and studied them quite carefully and said, "These are extraordinary. Where did you find these?" I said, "Oh, they're ours, actually." You know, we invented them. It was I was very excited about that.
I think it may have been Doug who said, "Oh, there's some family to see you, or here, not to see me, but visiting the set." And I said, "Oh, terrific, some of the Churchills." I said, "Oh, great, you know," and they said, "Yeah, there's about 17 of them."
And they all introduced themselves as Churchill. Like, "Hello, my name is Henry Churchill."
Yeah,
"Hello, I'm Isabella Churchill." "Hello,
Yeah.
I'm Peter
Yeah.
Churchill."
And also, Joe Wright, the director of this film, has done an incredible job with the cinematography and some of the sets and some of the scenes and the lighting and stuff as well. And that's compelling, and particularly as he brings London to life as it would have been in the summer of 1940.
No, I think that already we've seen where this movie is going to shine its brightest probably at awards season this year, because the actors, I mean, Gary Oldman particularly, just did such an outstanding job. And there are some great films up for awards this year, so whether it wins Best Picture and all sorts of other things, I'm not the one to ask. But certainly I think that the actors and those who've portrayed some of these historical figures, like Winston Churchill, like his wife, Kristen Scott Thomas, I'd love to see her recognised for this role. I think they did an amazing job.
Deanna, can you also maybe tell our viewers why they should go and watch this film and why it's so compelling?
I think it's worth watching. Simply put, I think it's worth watching. Some films wait on DVD and you'll still enjoy it, but this Darkest Hour is something that's worth enjoying on the big screen, so you can take it all in, almost pretend like you were in London at that time in history. But I think that anyone would enjoy it.
Deanna, I want to thank you so much for being my guest on this programme as we discussed the film Darkest Hour.
Thanks for having me.
Been a pleasure. And I just want to thank you for watching this programme. It's important that you go and watch the film Darkest Hour because it portrays what happened during those dark years of World War II. Absolutely compelling film. So thank you for watching Revelation TV Presents.